All right, welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We're talking some track and field now. The decision by World Athletics not to award 2024 Diamond League winners wildcard entries to the 2025 World Championships has been met with mixed reactions. The wildcard entries for Tokyo 2025 will be given to next year's Diamond League winners. The Diamond League is set to end on the 28th of August, just over 2 weeks before the September 13 start of Worlds. In clarifying the situation, this is what World Athletics said. Unlike previous seasons, no World Championships wildcards were on offer in this year's Diamond League. Instead, wildcards for the World Athletics Championships Tokyo 2025 will be awarded to the winners of the 2025 Diamond League, as the series will conclude before the global showpiece, which will take place in the Japanese capital from September 13 to 21. World Athletics was responding to a number of queries as the Diamond League website suggested this year's winners would indeed receive wildcards. This is what it says. All 32 Diamond League champions, one man and one woman in each of the 16 disciplines, are crowned over 2 days of athletics action at the Allianz Memorial Van Damme in Brussels. Each champion is awarded a prestigious diamond trophy, US $30,000 in prize money, and a wild card for the World Athletics Championships. Certain conditions apply. Yeah, that is what created the confusion. So, Leighton Levy, where do you stand on this one?
I think it's unfair, and I'll tell you why. Look, the compression of the major championships was caused by the pandemic, right? So you had World Championships in 2022, 2023, and of course now 2025. The protocol was that you won a Diamond League, you get your $30,000, you get your diamond, you get your title, and you get the wild card. It's not the athlete's fault that the World Championships are next year. They would have been next year anyway, right? So regardless of how you structured your system, the athletes would have been preparing this year to compete, to earn their slots. I mean, the $30,000, yes, but you earn to earn your wild card for the Diamond League for next year. So the Diamond League comes next year, just before the World Championships, which also I think is another blunder, because you can't have the athletes peaking for an entire season and then coming to compete at the World Championships 2 weeks later. So what you're denying the athletes an opportunity is the opportunity to benefit from that wild card of going into the World Championships. So take Akeem Blake, for example, who has run well throughout the course of the season, won Diamond League title, and now he has to win a Diamond League title again or win at the national championships.
Well, finished top three at his nationals.
Championships to qualify, which I think denies him the opportunity of benefiting from the original rules that say you win a Diamond League title, you get the Diamond League, you get a spot in the World Championships. And while he has opportunities, yes, to then still qualify, the fact is that you denied him an opportunity, which I don't think is fair. Julian Alfred similarly, and all the other winners of the Diamond League this year.
Although in Julian's case, because she is St. Lucian and she's really not competing against anyone else for a spot, she'll more than likely be there.
Yeah, but the thing is that for me, if you have a set of rules, why then do you go away from those rules for one particular year just to benefit?
But we are now assuming that it will be 1 year as opposed to this being the trend going forward. Because remember, this is happening, and this is not to say that I agree with the decision, but this is happening because for the first time ever, the Diamond League will finish before the World Championships.
Understood that.
From what I'm understanding, World Athletics is suggesting that it was never the Diamond League winner of the previous year that would compete. It was the Diamond League, it was the last Diamond League winner. And it just happens that in this case, for 2025, when the World Championships come around, the last Diamond League winner would have been the 2025 Diamond League winner. So That is what I'm hearing as an explanation. But let me tell you the biggest issue I have with that, Leighton. The biggest issue, and I think you alluded to it as well, the biggest issue I have with that is that the athletes don't get the opportunity to plan around the wild card.
Exactly.
Because I think that's the best thing about having a wild card. You know from the start of the season, I will not have to try and book a spot at my national championships. Therefore, I can plan my season in such a way that I only need to peak for the World Championships. And that puts the athletes who have the wild card in an advantageous position, which for me is a good thing for those athletes.
And especially if the country that you're representing does not have the previous world champion,
yes,
who also gets a buy into the world championships, you know, as a defending champion. So what you're doing, I think you're denying the athletes an opportunity, first of all, to plan for their seasons, one, and then come through. I mean, every season you start from zero. So you're going back into next season knowing that you're the Diamond League champion and you don't have a way into the World Championships. So let's say, for example, take anybody who's won the Diamond League.
Well, you do have a way.
Yeah, but let me put it this way for you. Say you pick up an injury mid-season.
Yes.
Next year. You're the Diamond League champion, but you're sitting on the outside looking in because you're unable to recover, not able to take advantage of winning the Diamond League in the previous season. I think it's unfair to the athletes.
So I agree with you there. So no arguments from me as it relates to that. And I have to be very careful how I say this, Leighton, because I have not been a fan of a lot of the rule changes brought on by World Athletics in the last 4 or 5 years.
Welcome to the club.
I think a lot of the rule changes tend to be Eurocentric.
Very much so.
Benefiting Europeans. And when I saw this latest decision, the first thing that came to mind, well, who are the athletes who generally benefit from these wild cards? It's the Jamaicans, it's the Americans, it's the Kenyans, it's the Ethiopians. Those athletes, those countries who dominate at 100, at 200 in the sprint hurdles, in the 1500, in the 5000, in the steeplechase. The nations I just called, not the Europeans.
No, yeah.
And so I can't help but wonder, is this another rule that ensures or that gives the Europeans a better opportunity of doing well, of medaling at these global events? Because if you have 3 Kenyans as opposed to 4 in a long-distance event, or 3 Jamaicans as opposed to 4 in a sprint event, or 3 Americans as opposed to 4 in a sprint event, it does make a difference, and it probably gives a quality European a better opportunity of being on the medal podium. And I really hope that I'm wrong and that none of these decisions or that thought process has not entered into any of the decision making. But that's just how I feel based on a number of the rules and rule changes that I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years. You think even about how you qualify for these major events and the world ranking system.
Yep.
Who is the world ranking system benefiting?
Well, it's certainly not the athletes from the western side of the world.
There you go, because a lot of these athletes, especially if you're in the NCAA, if you're competing on the regional Caribbean circuit, and if you're not yet able to get into the Diamond Leagues, it is so difficult to acquire enough points, and somebody who finishes down in 5th or 6th in a Diamond League could maybe get more points than you who win a meet in Grenada or in Kingston or something like that. And so, you know, those have been my concerns, but I really don't like this one because I think it does not give the athletes an opportunity to plan around the wild card. And let's be honest as well, Leighton, and maybe this is what World Athletics is looking at. Maybe World Athletics is saying we want more of our top athletes to be competing more consistently on the Diamond League circuit. And maybe they are thinking, if we say that the 2025 Diamond League winner will get the wild card, then it will force you to have to compete early in the Diamond League to get enough points. So if you don't make it through your national trials, then you know you need those points to try and qualify for the final, to ultimately win it, to get the wild card. That has also entered my thought process.
Yeah, but here's the thing as well. You know, the World Championships next year are going to be in September.
Yes.
Right? The Diamond League season starts in May.
Yes.
Who holds a peak that long? I mean, you're going to gradually, peak towards the World Championships, obviously. But what I find is going to probably happen is that it will be counterproductive, because I think athletes will probably start to compete and make themselves available for the Diamond League midway through the season. So the first half of the season is not necessarily going to get the best performances as well, because athletes are going to be aware of the fact that the World Championships are all the way down in September. So for their own cycles, they probably start to compete midway during the Diamond League season. So the first half of the Diamond League season will not probably see the best performances from anybody, because even if athletes from down under, for example, Australia and New Zealand, they're going to be coming from a different season, I mean climatic season, coming into the Diamond League to compete. They won't be ready yet either. So you're looking at a situation where midway you'll probably see from May to about mid-June, you probably will not see very good performances at the Diamond League anyway.
Yeah.
Because you'll start to see the athletes peaking towards the end of the Diamond League season. And given the intensity of the Diamond League season, because it's a weekly thing, then you're going into the World Championships 2 weeks later to perform at your very best, at your peak. You know, you're going to have to probably cycle 2 times into the World Championships. So I don't think it benefits the Diamond League anyway.
Yeah, and I guess the other aspect of it is the Diamond League final being 2 weeks before the World Championships. You're asking athletes to be at peak for that and then return and be at peak for the global showpiece, which in and of itself is not a very easy thing to do, because it will take a lot out of the athletes to go full throttle at the Diamond League final and then return to do the same at Worlds. Not only is the training,
it's also the travel.
Yes.
And also the fact that for the last 5 years, there have been championship after championship after championships. Athletes' bodies are already beginning to break down. You've seen the evidence of it, the number of injuries that have happened in the last few years. Now, with the cluster of what it is with the Diamond Leagues just before the World Championships, then you're risking, I think you're probably risking even more injuries as well. So I don't know where the World Athletics comes down on this, but I don't think a lot of it is being done in the best interest of the athletes, especially from the NACAC region, who are usually the big draws for the World Championships, especially when it comes to the blue ribbon events, the sprints, etc. You know? Yeah.
The one thing I'll say to close this is that I think this format makes the Diamond League wildcard less impactful. Yeah. I think it was more impactful when you knew from the start of the season who had the wildcards. So this changes everything as far as I'm concerned. Anyhow, let's see how it all unfolds next track and field season. It's some way away. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more, still more track and field to talk. We have Zone Update 2 to come, and then we head across to St. Lucia to see what Julian Alfred has been up to.